Hi, Steve Summers and Erik Skopil for EDUC.com. Erik, we just finished availability with Coach Altman. Fill us in on what he had to say.
Well, obviously this is a big week, senior week, the last opportunity for these guys to finish off Pac-12 play, kind of on the streak they're at right now, surging the last 5 games with wins here, an opportunity to win the last 2, Saturday's game against one of the top teams in the country in Arizona.
Well, in fact, Coach Altman went so far as to say he believes that Arizona's the number 1 team in the country.
And he said the best coach and the best player in the conference in Sean Miller and Nick Johnson. So high praise for that game, but they've got to get through Arizona State first. And as we saw down in Arizona, it's a difficult place and a difficult team to play and a difficult team for them to beat. They lost the game by 2, and they're going to try to improve on that. And this is a big game here starting off tomorrow on Tuesday.
Now, the Ducks, and particularly Coach Altman, is never really going to come out and say, well, you know, we really are happy about this or we're happy about that. He's always going to talk about things they need to improve on. But did you get the sense that somewhere deep down inside the Ducks are feeling pretty good about how they're playing basketball right now?
I think absolutely, you know, especially from where they were when they had that 5-game losing streak to now string together 5 in a row and put themselves now kind of on that bubble, firmly on the bubble. You know, a couple weeks ago it kind of seemed like it was kind of a dream to be there. There really wasn't any realistic opportunity for that, but they've won the games they've needed to, and I think they're playing their best basketball of the season right now, and that's important going into tournament time and kind of playing for those wins for the committee.
Well, one would have to think that beating UCLA on UCLA's home court in double overtime, when particularly after one of the Ware brothers sinks about a 40-footer, and for a 3-point shot to tie the game, they go into double overtime. Somehow, though, they find a way to win the game.
That was big, obviously, you know, and I think it felt like that. You know, I think Moser said as much. They'd kind of found every way to possibly give the game away, and for them to end up with a victory on a difficult court against a good basketball team after so much had gone wrong, for that second overtime to have gone as well as it did, and for them to end up with a victory, that was big. And again, another confidence booster here heading into a really key stretch.
Well, certainly the next day when they came out against maybe a team that is not on top of the game, but USC. But USC is a tough game, particularly at home.
Yeah, you know, USC team that hasn't won a lot of games, but they've played everybody pretty tough with a couple of exceptions. And they played Oregon tough for 20, 25, 30 minutes there until Oregon was able to kind of run away with it the last 10 minutes and kind of continue that win streak.
Well, tomorrow night it's going to be Arizona State, a team the Ducks had a shot at beating down in Tempe. What can we expect to see now?
Well, I think one of the key things going into this is again, the status of Damian Dotson. It's kind of like we're on Dotson watch every week. He suffered a sprained ankle in the second half on Saturday, something I don't think a lot of people recognize. I didn't recognize it until a couple hours after the game. It sounds like he sprained that ankle. Altman's pretty confident he'll play, but you know, if they're without him again, you kind of have to look at that bench and kind of them reopening that a little bit. Jalil Abdul-Bassett played pretty well on Saturday, so that's going to be key. And then obviously that big guy for Arizona State's pretty dang good, and you know, one of the all-time shot block leaders in the conference, and that's a guy that they've got to continue to attack. They talked about that today. Even though he blocks a ton of shots, you got to keep going at him, because if you become a perimeter shooting team, that's all you do, it becomes difficult to win games. Well,
it's an unusual week because they play their first game on Tuesday, then the second game, which will be next Saturday. So against Arizona, what Coach Altman believes the number 1 team in the country. Then they go into the Pac-12 tournament, which is actually will be a week from Wednesday down in Las Vegas at the MGM Grand. But you know, I don't know. This, as we've talked about all season long, this is a jump shooting team, and it's about winning the minute, winning those runs.
Well, and the crazy thing about this year, with all that bad stretch, that 5 straight losses, they have a chance to finish 4th in the conference. You know, if they win these last 2 games and a couple of things go their way, and to not have to play on that opening couple of nights there, which is what it looked like for a while. I mean, they were 10th place up until last week. There's an opportunity for this team to make that run and to finish a lot better than I think it looked like they were going to when you look back at early February, even late January.
I noticed on EDUC's message boards there were comments about how the Ducks looked a little bit sloppy, looked ugly, but there's no style points in basketball. The only thing that matters is who has the 1-point advantage at the final whistle.
Yeah, and for all the troubles they've had, they're 7-3 in their last 10 games, and the 3 losses they've had to the 3 best teams in the conference by 2 points. So a lot of things going well right now for the Ducks, and hopefully they can carry that forward this week and then into that conference tournament down in Las Vegas.
Well, you'll be here tomorrow night in press row. I'll be manning the EDUC chat room. Finally, for sure and certain, all the problems that EDUC message boards were experiencing are a thing of the past. And let's have our fingers crossed on that. That we're still dealing with technology. But anyway, we invite viewers to come in and who are not able to come to the game to follow the game along on EDUC chat. And Erik will be posting your Twitter. Your Twitter reports and into the game thread on Duck Hoops. So we'll look for your input tomorrow night and then Saturday when the Ducks take on Arizona. So for Erik Skopil, this is Steve Summers with educ.com.